I'm back up on the plot on what is quite a mild January afternoon, and the reason I say that in that way is because we've had so much cold. We've had snow and ice, and it has been quite beautiful, but it hasn't really tempted me to come and tidy up my greenhouses, which is what I'm hoping to get done today. If you remember on the last video on the January tour, I nearly wasn't going to show you inside the greenhouses. They were an embarrassment, but show you I did. And I've had nothing but support from people who have got similar situations in their own back gardens. So what I'm going to do today is, well, I've already made a start, to be honest. I'm going to start sorting the greenhouses out, and I've already found a couple of things I'd completely forgotten about, which you might find of interest. So let's make a start. Yeah, from this point of view, it doesn't look like I've done much at all, but it does explain what I mean about it being a bit of an embarrassment. But actually, if I just take you over to this shelf over here, look, this is getting a bit better, isn't it? It is to me. I've started to pick up all the pots that were underneath down, where's my finger gone? Where's your finger, Jane? Down there. That was absolutely jam-packed with pots, so I've started to bring them up on top of the shelf here and trying to sort them in a rough sort of size order, so they're going to be ready to go when we start sowing, which won't be too long away now. But while I was down on my honkers down there, I found a little friend, so I'll just put a little clip of him in now. I know, it's not a very picturesque sight, and if I ask you to spot the wildlife, you'll probably just look at this little snail here. But one of the things you've got to be careful of when you are tidying up your sheds and your greenhouses is disturbing too much wildlife. Which way shall I go? Because I've just found a little friend under here. There we go. Can you see him? Oh, he's on a little chat with his friend the woodlouse. So yeah, do be careful. Try not to disturb too much. I'm going to cover him back up and leave him be. Oh look, this is crikey, they've got theirs since yesterday. This is the other sort of wildlife I've been coming across quite a lot of. Can you see that? You can see him, can't you? Oh. And him in the garden. And you know what? I'm just going to, this is all I'm doing with them at the moment, is just peeling them off and chucking them out, because I know I should do something with them, like drown them in a happy glass of beer, but I feel a bit sorry for them, so I'm just sort of chucking them over there, and I'll deal, basically I'm putting off dealing with them another time. So I have to apologise to a lot of them. Oh look, there's so many. Look, they're everywhere. You look on certain pots. I picked up a pot yesterday and there must have been at least 20, both inside and outside the pot. Too many to peel off one at a time. So I've just put the pot over there by the daisies. So something or nothing will come of them. Right, okay. I should really just put them in a pot, but whoo, off they go. Okay, so basically what I wanted to show you here was, this is where I've been starting to do things when I say roughly by size. It's not an exact science, not with me, but I've got sort of medium-ish pots, but really that's the sort of pot I use mainly, and I've got loads of those. They've just fallen over. Pretend you didn't. Oh, they won't stand up now. Right, okay, I've put too many of them in one pile. But mainly what I do, I find it's really good when you're sowing larger things, so for example broad beans, that sort of thing. I use square pots because you can get more of them in a gravel tray, because you think if you're putting circular pots in, you can't butt them right up to each other without leaving a little space in the end, in the middle. So these go right next to each other. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, as you will have guessed already, I've got all my square ones there, is, right, these have literally just come from, just checking for things. Ah, it's come down my elbow. These have literally just come out from the mess that was under that bench. And all I am going to do, I've got a bucket off camera, proof, just under there, and I am just going to brush them, get the webs off, because really, I have said this before, and there might be some of you, that fell in, some of you yelling at the screen as I do this, but unless I've had some problem with some sort of disease or mould or whatever on my plant, I don't wash my pots. And I used to always feel really guilty about it, because basically it's probably just started with laziness. But then I read Charles Dowding, I've mentioned it before, his book Gardening Myths Debunked or something like that, and he talks about, you know, there's really no reason that you have to start your pots scrupulously clean every time. And it's one of those things, if he says it, that's my excuse. So obviously I don't want to be full of all cobwebs when I get started, so I want to make sure I've got the soil off, the cobwebs off, they're reasonably clean. If I think they need more cleaning as and when I come to pot them up or plant them up, I will do that then. But yeah, I think just get a quick brush. So I shall get on, sort out my pots, because I've got to get this side clear, pots back under, so that I can start moving that side over here, and then I'll show you what we've got over here. Okay, they've had a little bit of a dust and spruce up, a little bit of a sort. Now it's just a case of sweeping under the bench and finding a little spot for them. Okay, there they all are. You see them under the bench. They've all been sorted. They've been swept of any old soil and cobwebs and all sorts of stuff. Any old pots, anything that's cracked or broken, they've gone out. But other than that, they're in rough size order, so that I know in a few weeks' time, when we start our mad seed sowing adventures, I'll know where to grab my pot from, and I'll also know I won't get a handful of cobwebs, fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm really quite pleased. So that's that done. I've given the top a good sweep. What that means now is I now have a free surface. Now bear in mind I didn't have any free surfaces, for which I'm going to start transferring stuff from this side. Okay, well there we go. It's amazing how tidy something can look when you you pick stuff up off it and transfer it to somewhere else. So for example, there's my my dahlia tubers are up there hiding, little dahlia ghosts there, and then I've got my potting bench on this side, which has just had a quick brush, but that will get moved eventually. But it's all right there for now, because then that means I can look at this bench and say, oh, that's almost ready to go, apart from the fact that it's on a bit of a wonk. So at some point I'm going to have to shore up those back legs, but I'm not going to do that today. All I'm going to do now is have a quick look at the underneath, which isn't as bad. I'm getting very wet here. I'm outside the greenhouse, it's bucketing down. It's not as bad as that side was. It's mainly seed trays. So I'll have a quick look through and see what's worth keeping and what's basically past its best. And then I can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm back down here on my honkers, which is where I belong. I've got to admit, it is raining quite heavily now. It's quite a nice indoor job to do. I must admit, if I was at home, there's no way I would think, hooray, it's raining, I'm going to go and sort out the greenhouse. But it's quite nice. And in all the bits where, I don't know, I've speeded up or put music on top, I've had the radio on and it's been quite relaxing actually. Also a sense of achievement. But yeah, so I've got, look, I told you, that bucket there, that's the tops of the dahlias, but that's all soil that I've tipped out of the old pots. And like I said before, that, if I'd washed the pots, most of that would have gone down the drain. So that is all going to get reused. There's probably going to be quite a bit more coming from this side. But yeah, let's have a little look. I don't know if you can hear. There's probably some scientific explanation for this. But when it's raining, the birds sound, they echo more. And I don't know if you can hear the birds. You probably can't hear anything because I've got you covered in a tea towel. Trying not to get you wet and thinking of your best interests. But yeah, you know, like with soil, when soil gets damp, there's petrichor, there's that lovely smell. Is it smell? It's just beautiful. And that's there's a scientific explanation for that. But I wonder if there is one for birds singing as well. Anyway, it sounds very lovely. I just hope you can hear them. Hope you can hear me. Not saying much. Right, okay, all I need to do here, all my hip, is take a little look through. I've got some lovely apple crates there. I know that they are fine. What I tend to do with those is, look, I've just dumped stuff in them at the moment. So they do have their uses. This is not one of them. Anything like that, I've got a broken pot. I am going to put them in. You know, hormone rooting powder. I remember when I was little, Mum, such green fingers, you know, she could look at a plant and it would have babies. You know what I mean though, don't you? And she used hormone rooting powder for everything. And so when I started taking cuttings and things, I used to always use it. But now I find I don't. Anyway, it's going up there. That'll probably go back in the shed. I've got things like plastic bottles, which I will want later in the year, but I'm not going to bother with them now. I'm not going to reuse that. Oh, look at that. I was saying there's nothing in here. And now I'm taking everything out of there. Seed potatoes, Sharps Express and May and Gold. I need a big bucket. That's only one thing, isn't it? Okay, let's just see. So that just needs, that's just dead stuff and a snail. Dead stuff and a snail. That's a plant saucer. That can go in there. Battery's fallen out of my mic. No, it's still on. Yeah, so what I'll do then, I'll use that top crate to move things over into, my root trainers. If you watch my thing on sweet peas, I've mentioned root trainers briefly in the way that I'm not using them just as well because they're here. And I can only find 5, and I think there's about 7 fit in a tray. They are very good if you're going to grow something with a long root or something that's going to be grown for a long time, because they're quite deep and they open like so you can get the plant out easy. But I don't know, a little bit overrated in my eyes. I'll put them there though so I don't forget where they are. Labels, plastic labels will be reused up there in the potting bit. And then, let's see, I keep finding more things. You see, you get that many, when you buy little seedlings from wherever you buy them from, you tend to get them in these pots. I mean, you don't go and buy these pots from your garden centre. What was in these? A vegetable pack. So, okay, that maybe had 12 cauliflower. What can you use them in? I never reuse them. I should do. Where's my little brush? Where's my brush? There it is. I should reuse them, but I can't throw them out. They will come in useful for something. But you see, rather than fill those up with compost, I just use little pots. So they'll go in there. That can be my odds and bits and bobs and bungles. These need a wash, actually. They do need a wash. They can go in there as well. Don't know what that is. Anyone recognise what that might be? Bits and bobs. So you can see very much my sorting is just moving something from one place to the next. It's very much the same in my house. But there's a lot of soil in there. Where's that all come from? Actually, I know where it comes from, because these slats at the top have obviously got gaps in between. So anytime the soil falls through, it just gets captured in these. Well, I'm going to be wanting these again soon. And these are something I will want to wash, unlike the pots, because they need to be clear because they're the tops of the propagators. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to be good. I will take them home and clean them, or I'll forget about them and leave them in a pile. Okay, but that pile can sit over there. Another one, see? Oh, this has got water in. What's that got in there? What's that had? Marigold, French mixed. I don't remember buying them. Oh well, must have done at some point. Of course, a lot of what you find as well is what the previous owner would have had. So when we took this allotment on, obviously there was a lot, well, it was well stocked. You know, I think the top sheds were full of bamboo canes. I think they've still got loads of pots in. We were really, really lucky. So we took on quite a lot. That is a pile of seed trays. That is staying as is. These are all the same size. They probably haven't all been used in 1 year, but I'm just going to make sure they stack up nicely. Odds and sods. Yeah, I keep wondering why they're all covered in onions, but of course we had the onions to dry on this side as well. So, oh, you know what? I think you're best off just leaving me to it. That's rubbish. Those two have got to go. Yeah, so I'm going to sit here. I'm going to carry on because this is my life. Just piling things up. But you know what? I'm laughing, but this is something. This and my ironing, I'm terrible for ironing, is something I have been dreading doing and putting off and saying I'll do it tomorrow. And now I feel like, okay, there'll be those of you going, oh no, she's not very pristine with her things. But look at that, that's my seed trays sorted already. What are they? Are they okay? Okay, just need a dust. They will do. Again, don't want to throw anything out if I can reuse it. They can go on there. That's them done. That needs washing as well. That's on top of a propagator. Window boxes. Another weird thing, lavender. Oh, I do remember buying lavender actually, because that, I think, well, it was £5 and it was for 6 little plants. It's really good. Of course, if you're very good, you will be taking cuttings from your lavender, which is what I hope to be doing this year. But yeah, I'm getting on to wet stuff now, which I don't really fancy doing. Would you reuse them? I don't know. I'll put them there. Yeah, so I will love you and leave you. I'd like to say a great big thank you. I'm stopping now. I'd like to say a great big thank you to all the new subscribers who've popped over since last week. And it's really, really lovely to hear from you, hear from where you are in the world. And yeah, just leave a comment, because it's just really nice to have you along. So thank you, new subscribers. Thank you to all the subscribers, and also people who've come over to the Facebook page and the Instagram page, links below. But yeah, really nice to have you along. I'm afraid you've joined me on what is basically quite a boring video. But they do get more exciting. Sometimes the sun shines and sometimes I even plant things. So yeah, do stick around. It's really nice to have you here. But for now, I'm going to get on with this, shut up and go home and have a nice cup of tea. So I hope you're well wherever you are, and I'll see you again very soon.